Well, g'day again, and welcome to 2025. And time's moving on, so perhaps we need to grow up a little bit. So, hopefully, this video will help you learn a few more things with the introduction of ChatGPT and other AI programs on the internet now. We've been able to discover a lot more, and so one of the things we've found is that we're still an infant, and so as we're an infant, we haven't claimed our crown yet. So we need to do a little bit of research, and hopefully this will help you on your journey to freedom. So let's have a look at how it all began. So first of all, we were born, but then our parents registered us or birthed us into a private company, and all governments worldwide are private companies. And when you are birthed or registered into their system, then you must follow their rules. So this is hopefully going to explain in a little bit more detail how simple it was to trick us into it. Now, one of the twins survived, the placenta died. So when the placenta died, they gave a birth certificate and set up an estate or a trust set up in our father's name. Now, therein lies a bit of a problem because they did it under statute, they did it under Sedekay Act and many other acts, not just the one. They can't just do it under one act, otherwise we'd find it quite easily. So it's all over the place, but our parents only gave us one name, and this is one of the keys to it. We were only given one name. Okay, so if we look at the estate trust, it adds a surname. Now, when you have an addition, it changes things. So, in the case of John Henry and Doe, if we answer to Doe or the surname, what are we doing? We're stepping up as trustee de son tort. Now, when you step up as trustee de son tort, now this is from the New Zealand Law Dictionary, trustee de son tort, a person who is not a trustee and has no authority from a trustee, but whom the law saddles with trustee obligations. Okay, so what we do every time we get sent a bill from anyone, a local council, the power company, any of those ones, they will always have the surname there. Now, if we pay it, we're stepping up as trustee de son tort. Now, the trustee de son tort, or the trustee, always pays, but if we're stepping up as the wrong one, the obligation is with us because we've meddled in the trust. Now, for those of you that are unsure what John Doe is, if a body arrives in the morgue and it's unidentified, it's called a John Doe, which means it's dead, but they don't have a name. So John Henry was the name given, alive and living, but Doe, they issued a birth certificate for Doe. Now, Doe is actually the crown or the sovereign, and this is where everyone has gone wrong. Keep thinking that the living is the sovereign, but we're not. And I'm going to show you in this how we have mistakenly thought that we were the sovereign, but it's actually the birth certificate is the sovereign or the crown. And the birthed Doe is the crown. There are two things that we will need to do before they can see or hear us if we're going to try and get ourselves after the mess that we're in. First of all, we will need to prove we are of age, and secondly, we're going to need to provide a will because Doe died without leaving a will, and that is a problem. Because he died without leaving a will, We are now under administration, under the Administration Act 1969. They are administering the estate of the deceased, which is Doe. So we're going to do something about that. Okay, so step one is an affidavit under the High Court Rules, section 4.48. A minor who attains full age must file and serve an affidavit confirming that he or she is no longer a minor. Okay, so once you have filed that, then they can, well, they still can't see you until you do the will, because this is where the whole thing changes. Write a will for Doe, or for the invisible man. So upon the demise of the crown, the sovereign, Doe John Henry, a juristic person. Now this is how you will start your will, something like this. You do a bit of research on how to write your will, but this is a reasonable start. Will upon the demise of the crown. The sovereign, Doe John Henry, a juristic person, crown entity created under statute after registration with birth, deaths, and marriages, declare by this testamentary disposition of this our will and deed. Okay, you could start your will off something like that, and then you tell, you'll see in a moment who to tell, what you want, and how to do it. Okay, so as your crown is demised, this is what your will needs. Okay, but first of all, we'll have a look at demise. Demise can be a noun or a verb, and it means death. It doesn't only mean death, though. It means cessation, loss, or transfer. So cessation, loss, or transfer is very big on what we will be putting in our will, because this is the demise of the crown. And if we go to the Constitution Act 1986, the death of the sovereign shall have the effect of transferring all the functions, duties, now you will need some of these words in your will, transferring all the functions, duties, powers, and authorities, rights, privileges, and dignities belonging to the crown to the sovereign successor. Okay, well, I wonder who the sovereign successor is. It's the living person. So we are the sovereign successor, but we've never hopped up and claimed it. Now, you can't just hop up and claim it. There's a bit more to it than that, so we'll show you what to do. The sovereign successor is us. Your crown has a representative. I wonder how many people knew about this, but the estate that is under administration has a representative, and here it is. The Governor General, appointed by the sovereign, is the sovereign's representative. So you will need in your will to appoint the Governor General, and you will need them to pass it on to the sovereign successor, which is us. So how do we ask the Governor General what we want? Okay, so for this we'll go to the Imperial Laws Application Act 1988, and we'll have a look at what says here. So much of that act that is stated in the words, the King willeth and commandeth. Okay, so willeth and commandeth. There you have your will. So the King, in his will, commands the Governor General. You don't ask politely, you command. The King commands. And it's written in that act there for you to see. Okay, but there are traps for young players, and you're going to have to realize this, that if you get any of these wrong, that you are going to be no further ahead than what you started. All these five here will catch you out. Okay, so the first one is your name, your date of birth, your address, your occupation, and your bank account. So we'll go through them. Okay, as we were only given Christian names, a surname, a name which is added. Now you'll notice that I've highlighted that. Okay, because a name which is added to the Christian name. Now herein lies a clue. Your surname came after registration. So let's have a look at addition. as your surname was added, whatever is added to a man's name by way of title, as additions of a state mystery. Okay, read through that, guys. Just pause this presentation from time to time and read right through. But here is the key to it. Black's Law Dictionary, additio probat minoritatem. An addition to a name proves or shows minority or inferiority. So straight away they're telling you that if you add the surname in, you're excluded. So you do not want your surname in there. You must only have the names that you were given on your printout, or in Australia it's extract, in America it's on the live birth certificate. Okay, now your born date and your birth date are very different. Okay, so your born date was when you arrived into this world and got a slap on the bum. Your birth date is when your parents registered you. So you will need to put the birth date in, or you will get that off your live birth records. Okay, so it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, could be a year later is your actual birth date. That was when you were registered into the system. So make sure that you put your birth date, not your born date, which is a common mistake. This is a beauty. Your address. Bovier's Online Law Dictionary. Address. That part of a bill which contains the appropriate and technical description of the court where the plaintiff seeks his remedy. So the address is the Court of John Henry. That's where you'll get your remedy. So when they ask for your address, that's where it is, the Court of John Henry. Occupation. This is even better because this is from Oxford Dictionary of Law. Now, when a invading army takes over a land, they say that the land is under occupation. Okay, so if they ask for an occupation, your occupation is not reasonably discoverable. Just simple little things that catch us out all the time. So if you get these right, you should get through the door. Now, the private bank account, you will need to ask, or the sovereign will need to ask the Governor General to open a private bank account. And it will be in the name of the sovereign successor, which will be John Henry, not John Henry Doe. Now, all banks have a private side to them, so you can go online to your bank and find but in the case of New Zealand government, their bank is Westpac. That's why I've put this one on here. Okay, time to begin your journey. Do some more research, but let's get into the private, guys.